Welcome to the Lagoon, everybody. As you can see, we're going to be playing Dagon. Yeah, Dagon. Yeah, Cthulhu for Dagon. So this is an awesome sauce, independent video game based off the short story by H.P. Lovecraft called Dagon. Now, I've already 100% this. I just want to really promote this game. It's got a lot of really great DLC as well. Great atmosphere. If I were to teach literature in school, I would have this to be played in my classroom. I would give extra credit to students who would buy this and play this, because you're about to see it's more or less the storyline. It's more or less the short story being read but turned into a video game. I would love for somehow the creators of this game to somehow do that with, The Shadow over Innsmouth, Call of Cthulhu, even The Haunter of the Dark. I think that would really translate well, be really, really cool. I don't know how that would work and all that jazz, but I trust these devs, for they're very talented. All right, well, I guess we're just going to go ahead and, what's all this goods? Ooh, cool. So, I guess they've added some new stuff here. Now, there is DLC to this game, but it's more like another little fun short story, like one of the things Lovecraft wrote as a kid, stuff like that. For the most part, we're going to just focus on Dagon. Yeah, Dagon. So, Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequence, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. I wish so much that it had a VR. I would love to be so fully immersed in this. I love the Cthulhu mythos, so let's get it going.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Alright, during the game you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder sign. Oh no! Hang on. The air conditioning is coming on and being rather loud. Sorry, chat. Hang on. There we go. Alright, let us return to Dagon. Father Dagon. Okay.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Morphine, hell yeah, let's do it. Morphine entered into the use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War, 1861 through 1865, and World War I, 1914 through 1918. It was also sold without restriction until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Frederick Turner, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States of America. can read the discovered trivia immediately or go back to them later. In the main menu, turn off displaying trivia if you find that the feature distracts you from the story. This can be changed anytime in the options. Whoa. Frame rate drop there. Sorry about that, chat. Come on now. There we go.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Dagon.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. After death! They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize the brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on 27 July 1900 before they embarked to China. Should yours encounters the enemies, he will be defeated, yeah. Well, no quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. No, wait, that's Austrian. My fault. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. The refusal to take prisoners was clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899. I'm on a boat and it's going fast and on a boat, a motherfucking boat, Poseidon, look at me. Oh wait, hang on. Dagon, look at me.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Yeah. The fucking liberals. Dumbass.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, I'm not gonna lie.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Dagon. Yo, bro, what the fuck?
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
The origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by wow, I don't know why my brain just shut down. Irvin S. Cobb. I was like, how do you pronounce that? Irvin S. Cobb, about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake, supernatural horror and literature, H.P. Lovecraft, and Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl, and yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old, but I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Wandre.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
Is that a Shoggoth?
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me, that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Bro, I bet this is awesome in VR.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Look, Chad, it's a give us mean. Bro, I would be freaking the fuck out if I was here, bro. I'm just saying.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal. All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What's a hammock? No, I'm just kidding. Whoa, what is that though? It's been a while since I played this. Whoa, look at this, like fingers or claws or some shit. No, sir. Oh, it's a well, bro. It's fucking Moby Dick. Check him out. That's so cool, dude. I want this in VR, bro. I gotta buy me a VR.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I'd first espied it.
The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of R'lyeh was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet, below the ocean's surface in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth or the viper fish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. That's really true, and wait till we all find out that aliens are actually living at the bottom of the ocean in underwater cities like the deep ones and Father Dagon. Yes. He will awaken and remake our flesh. Brian freaking out. This game ain't scary, bro.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharp relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Well, that sounds like a good song lyric.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night. But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration,
that's beautiful.
Determined to sleep no more.
This game is beautiful. Everybody give a clap emoji in chat. It's so beautiful. God, I want to play this in VR, bro. So bad.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence. I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Well, it's like Paradise Lost.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Oh, whoa, you too? Hell yeah, bro. This is a great smoke spot.
Satan's hideous clouds through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
No, what a fucking nerd, bro. That's all you're... Oh, it's not perpendicular, bro. It's not on an acute obtuse angle. What a fucking Nerd, dude. No wonder I bet this guy has no bitches.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent. Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Oh yeah? Okay, I guess we gotta go down.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps where no light had yet penetrated.
Yeah, I bet.
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
It's fucking 2001 Space Odyssey, bro.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed.
Whoa, what do you mean gleam whitely, sir? Yo, bro, I think I'm too fucked up for this, bro. I'm kind of getting scared. I shouldn't have hit my bong up there, man. Fuck. Alright. Oh, wait, this guy's doing morphine. Never mind.
Nearly a gigantic piece of stone. I soon assured myself.
Yeah, it's far fucking out, dude. This is like that, what's it? It's that monolith that's like on that, what is it? Phobos? Or whatever? There's some kind of monolith. I know NASA tries to act like it's not a thing, but if you look into it, it is. There's like some kind of weird monolith on an asteroid or a small moon around Mars or something like that.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Well, no shit, bro. Like, that's somebody built this, bro.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
It was like climbing the rope in gym class.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Man, that was so close to a Led Zeppelin song. I've been dazed and confused, love baby too. I've been dazed and frightened, fucking fish people around. Okay. Yeah, let's get closer to it. That's a good idea. You're right. Oh.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the tower.
Your zenith
chasm
fades into eternity. Psycholorum, psycholorum. Bro, Ghost should play here, bro.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith.
Yeah, that's what I call my...
On whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Yeah, this is the best smoke spot.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to
Is that
me,
Cthulhu?
and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
Wow, dude, that's fucking cool.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Yeah, but like, I feel like you see the top left, like up there, like the tentacles with the eyes. Like, I'm wondering if that's like supposed to be like Azathoth, and then like all the like the squiggly stuff like around it, you know, it's like Yog-Sothoth, the omnipresent one, and then maybe like that other thing to like the right and you kind of see like a weird humanoid. Like, I wonder if that's supposed to be like Elder Thing, maybe? And then you get like Cthulhu in the middle, in the center. I don't know.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen planet.
Oh, dude.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to figure it out, dude. Maybe it's so freaking cool. Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and character notes, the Shadow Out of Time, the Haunter of the Dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Miko and the Whispers and Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Dagon.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
I'm sure it's fine, bro.
They were damnably human in general outline.
It's like the Queen album cover.
Like hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he doesn't look like he's killing a whale. He looks like he's like looking at a dead whale, and he's like trying to like he's a biologist. And then I don't see any flabby lips either, but you know, whatever. I'm just saying, you know. But yeah, you know, it's good to know that the deep ones are into biology.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Yeah. You're right. That's what's going on here.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
The moon's like, hey, yes, fist peoples, let's go.
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface.
Oh, fuck.
The thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Yo, I'm on too much morphine for this shit.
Loathsome. It darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the mark.
My boy's hitting the gym, dude.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the sloping cliff and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh, fuck this, bro. I'm getting out of here, dog.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Oh, even flow in a world like butterflies, yeah. As he takes his hand away, yeah. The concrete again.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Oh my god.
I know pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
The shadows betray you because they belong to me.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
I'd believe it, bro. The journalist Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again for the first time since his teenage years. Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Well, that is why we need Dagon, so he can remake us into one flesh. And we will worship the great Lulu. Come on, game, what the fuck, dude? Wow, why is it dropping frame rate, dude? This is stupid. Hello?
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist.
What is that?
And amused him with peculiar questions regarding
Dagon?
the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Philistine, but whatever. Dagon. That's like the southern Dagon, I need you to get out of the fucking water and wash your damn hand. Well, fucking glassy eyes, flapping lips, some bit, touching everything, dude, fucking water. Anyways, Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, hard facts, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the words Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in the Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Yeah, and Samson destroyed the temple of Dagon in the Bible after they plucked out his eyes and, tied him and cut off his hair because he was into that Philistine chick, you know? Alright. Okay. Come on, bro. What the hell's going on with this game?
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional,
Oh, he's got the Necronomicon.
press my inquiries.
August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works throughout his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's work after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic, in nomine Patri et Filius Spiritus Sancti, to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. So this is actually kind of semi-incorrect. Lovecraft referred to his mythology, in quotation marks, as Yog-Sothory. He very much did create a mythology, although I think the correct term would be cosmology. So there's clear that there is a, religious cult in these universes that worship like Cthulhu, Yog-Sothoth, Azathoth, Nahar-le-Hotep. So he did very much create a cosmology, which in today's words we would call a mythology if it was real. If we found ancient carvings like this guy did, we would say that it is a mythology. So this is kind of partially half correct. I just want to kind of, I'm not trying to throw shade at the creators of this game, but, that's not necessarily true. Lovecraft definitely did create a shared universe with a cosmology of cultists. There's even an inverted trinity of the first, the children of Azathoth, the trinity of that, Nar-Hali-Hotep, the crawling chaos, the darkness, and the nameless mist. Although they have cooler names than that, so there's definitely a dark trinity within the universe. There's all kinds of stuff. So the Lovecraft, it's a shame that he passed when he did, but his work is very much deep, and Derleth very much did try to salvage and bring that out and kind of fill in those kind of blanks. Although I do have to agree with this, that he did kind of insert good versus evil, which makes sense because he's Catholic and has a worldview of Catholicism. But ultimately, Lovecraft had the ideology of cosmicism, to where there is no Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit that represents love. We're just either created by jest or by mistake, and there's all these other horrors outside of humanity. That's what all these monsters represent, is the meaningless of life and of humanity and stuff like that. Wow, why is this glitching out so hard right here at the end? Damn, I get mean mugged by that statue. So what was the point of coming over here? What the hell?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine.
Hell yeah.
But the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
You should try DMT, bro, and go hang out with Yog-Sothoth.
So now, I am to endure,
You'll be fine.
having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12, in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13 February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts, or coarsens the delicate natural, I don't even know what the fuck that word is, bro, of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as any other. Source: The Spirit of Revision, Lovecraft's Letters to Zilla Brown, Reed Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Sean Bannery, and Andrew Lemon, S.T. You'll see. Okay, first of all, Lovecraft, my rights do not end where your feelings begin, so get fucked, poser. It's called having fun. Maybe you should try it.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
Oh no! They say he's got to go, Godzilla!
The day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Yeah, I hope that shit happens like tomorrow. Whoa, where's the Twin Towers? Oh, wait. That's right. Oh, yeah, bro. One can only hope.
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it. It shall not find me.
Oh shit. It found me, bro. Dagon!
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Hell yeah, stage dive for the win. Yeah, Lovecraft when he takes one hit from the bong. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate it if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. Leave feedback. Ooh, so you got some new stuff. So you got the Railway Horrors DLC. You got whatever that is. That looks interesting. That looks kind of Azatothy. And Cthulhu Bedtime Stories. Lead feedback. Alright, well, first of all, the feedback is 10 out of 10 game. Everybody should buy this. If you don't, then you're a fake fan. Side note, I got Creature from the Black Lagoon on the side TV. But yeah, this is a great game. I have a great time every time I play it. I always try to play this like every like August 30th, May Day or whatever. That's the thing in the Shadow of Ransmouth, if you know about it. And of course, in the month of October, I always try to play these games or whatever. I'm pretty sure that playthrough I got everything. Yeah, so I missed that one, but I've already 100% this game, like I said. So yeah, it's a great game. I mean, I would highly recommend to get it if you're a massive Lovecraft fan, into Yog-Sothothery, the Cthulhu mythos. If you really have a lot of passion for it, you can't go wrong here. Like, I would like to invest in a VR just to experience this. I also just want to go ahead and apologize for like the latency lag. Like, my laptop can run this perfectly on high settings, but I guess it's just because I'm recording. I don't know. I need to get a better computer so I can play PC games and stuff like that, which will be an investment in the not too distant future, so I can do that. But for the main part, I really hope you all very much enjoyed this. I check this game out. Subscribe to my channel, turn those bell notifications on, like it, leave comments below. Yeah, tell me what your favorite Lovecraft story is, if you have one. Leave a comment below. I'd like to know. I know he's got quite a bit of good ones, so it's kind of hard to pick. Dagon is a masterpiece, 100% sure. And stay tuned for my Gill stuff, which will also be kind of like a Gill's review on Stuart Gordon's H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon. I will also do a retro deep dive onto that, but at first, we have to get the Horror of Dracula one to come out first, which is going to be premiering sometime in October, so look out for that. I will also have a unboxing video coming out too, as well as some more record reviews. And you know what, I'm kind of getting in the mood for Halloween, so I might actually upload another audiobook pertaining to not only the great H.P. Lovecraft, but also Edgar Allan Poe. So I'll definitely be reading some Poe soon, as well as some more Lovecraft. So until then, stay salty, stay spooky, and all of that jazz. And good night, Paige. But let us not forget that one day the dreamer will have his day. The great Cthulhu will awaken, and Father Dagon will remake our flesh, and together with Mother Hydra we will enjoy pleasures beyond human flesh. Yeah, Dagon. Yeah, Mother Hydra. Yeah, Cthulhu for Dagon.